There's a lot of trade-off.
Like being able to write, like, start a song with "You Say You Want to Kill Yourself." The label probably not gonna be like.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean a song like
Your Illusion?
I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. I mean, honestly, I think there are some cases where creatively we've obviously one of the biggest reasons why we started the label was so that we weren't suddenly changing our path to just follow some corporate agenda or just a corporate confusion. So yeah, we've been able to focus on whatever songs we want to release, whether they started with lines like "You Say You Want to Kill Yourself," or you know, whether we focus our marketing on less traditional things. I mean, the thing is, we really feel like this is coming into probably the most exciting time for music, but I think more than anything it involves people willing to take risk again. I think people started, this business got so bloated that it got swallowed up by money managers and, you know, lawyers, and it became this gigantic industry. It's multi-billion dollars. It started with, you know, country music and gospel music colliding, creating rock and roll, and then all of a sudden there was a modern music business, and teenagers were born. You know, there were no teenagers until the 50s.
They didn't call people teenagers.
You know, because people didn't have disposable income at a time before they had a job. So they, you know, you have kids with money and rock and roll, and boom, there's an industry. 50 years later, we're owned by, you know, you've got a toilet company owning an entertainment company like Vivendi. So it's like it's come full circle, and I think people forget how quick that's been. It's only been 50 odd years since the real music business has been going. I mean, the big band and a lot of stuff before that, but really rock and roll. You know, the era since then.
Yeah, the electric.
Yeah, the electric music business. So
Electric music
I think for us, it's like, you know, we're just wanting to survive long enough, fueling our fans and figuring out what model really works for independent bands. And I think that the biggest thing that you're going to see the rebirth of is risk. Anybody that's willing to actually risk something, not based on like just endless risk of taking, you know, just throwing money at stuff, but
Learning
calculated
to find
risk.
fans again.
Calculated
Learning
risk,
to-
like going like, well, this is what we sell, this music, this band, this, you know, and so we need to step out there for this, and we need to step for this, and step out and support these things because we know that we're building like a long-term career. You know, you can't judge music by quarterly earnings; it just doesn't work. So I think that's where we feel like we are, and I guess we just figure the service business.
Case in point. Some of the most successful artists of the last 5 or so years have been Maroon 5, John Mayer, Norah Jones, Alicia Keys. You know, some of which have busted out more quickly than others, but in the case of Norah Jones, John Mayer, and Maroon 5, they all took about a year and a half.
2 years.
2 years on those first records that really blew up for them, that have launched their careers, for them to create demand. And in that same way, I mean, that's a great example of what
a lot of labels have
what a
forgotten
lot
how
of
to
labels
do.
have forgotten how to do. Yeah, and most of those, and the reason why those records did that was because they were on small subsidiaries of the larger companies, Blue Note, Aware, and then Octone being the three, Norah Jones, John Mayer, and Maroon 5, that stuck with those bands for about a year before they got any influx of real capital from the larger company to...
They didn't get any influx of real capital until they were already successful.
Yeah, exactly.
They
Until they'd
definitely
already
worked.
proven that it was working.
Yeah.
Anyway.